This is by far one of the most interesting places I've been to, and hey you, it's Lexi. Let's embark on a journey through time, because there's no other way to understand why this massive 70-meter monument sits on top of a hill abandoned to nature. The mountain this monument sits on is important in Bulgarian history, with three main events happening here. Number 1. The death of Hadzhi Dimitar in a Bulgarian uprising against oppressive Ottoman forces. 2. The partisan forces of people mainly from Gabrovo and Sevlievo fought against the Nazi fascists in World War II. And finally, the foundations of communist Bulgaria. How was this the foundation of communist Bulgaria, you may ask? Well, once the Ottomans were gone, Tsarist Bulgaria began. And people were not happy. Socialist groups started meeting here in secret, using the cover that they were commemorating the sacrifice of Hadzhi Dimitar. But by 1891, Dimitar Blagov, the father of Socialist Bulgaria, had united the socialist groups and so entered the communist era in Bulgaria. So it may surprise you, as it did me, but Buzludzha is not an old building at all. The stories go back to 1868, but the monument itself was designed by Georgy Stoilov in 1961 and constructed in 1971, and was heavily used until the 90s. The decay you see is so recent that it's hard to imagine so much damage has occurred in the last 20 to 30 years. So, why was this seemingly important political and historical place abandoned? It had been loved before. Bulgarians themselves had volunteered to build it and pay for it. So, how did it end up here? To answer this question, I looked at the politics of the country at the time. Imagine, it's November 1989. The leader of the Communist Party has been kicked out by his own cabinet. And communist Bulgaria is falling apart. Western capitalism knocks at the door and decides that every monument to socialism should be destroyed. The first being the mausoleum of Georgy Dimitrov, Bulgaria's first communist leader, despite 2/3 of the Bulgarian population opposing the destruction. It almost sets the stage for the corruption scene in Bulgaria today. The reason the monument was not destroyed by the government is a mystery to me. I can only speculate that maybe it was too difficult to destroy, either because it was too expensive or getting the labor up there would be too difficult. Instead, the guards around Buzludzha were dismissed and the monument was looted of everything valuable, including the roof. Today, it's a skeleton of what it once was. All that is left to imagine what it looked like are these plastic information sheets zip-tied to the front gate, and a large sign above that says entry prohibited. It's not safe or structurally sound to go inside. Apparently it's even dangerous. So alone it sits up here on Buzludzha mountain peak, exposed to the elements, the blazing sun and the freezing wind. I can safely say that it's one of the modern day ruins or abandoned places that really does live up to expectation. There are a few roads to get here, but it's obvious why the socialists were able to take the country from the Tsar. We're in the middle of nowhere. It's so quiet and we're all alone until another car and some motorbikes come up the mountain to see the views and this bizarre building. I can't see the valley below because it's covered by a layer of thick fog. It's a place to get away with murder, overthrow monarchies and win wars, and nobody would ever know. I'm not sure if the graffiti you see covering parts of the building take away from it, or if it just enhances the idea that this is a lost place. This is by far one of the most interesting places I've been to, and yeah, so apparently they are going to start refurbishing this and start making it an actual tourist destination and place that tourists can come and you can visit inside, which is pretty cool because at the moment there's definitely no way that you could get inside just because the structure is like the monument is structurally unsound and structurally unsafe. This is good news for the preservation of this strange monument, As of 2018, it was recognized as one of Europe's endangered heritage sites. Hopefully, with continued interest from Bulgarians themselves and international travelers just like yourself, this monument could be preserved for many generations to come. Sitting on the steps of Buzludzha with Greg, it's really a breathtaking sight, and I often wonder what the generations that come next will think of us and the people's history we have already left behind. I hope you enjoyed traveling with me to Buzludzha in central Bulgaria. It was really an experience for me, and I hope it inspired you to get out there. If you like my content, please like and comment. It really helps me out, as it helps the algorithm know that the content I produce is worth watching. If you're interested in more content on Bulgaria, click over here. Or if you prefer something on Greece, then click over here. Have a great one. I'll catch you guys next week.